Yo, this is Los Almighty. The date today is November 17th, 2025. And that means it is 17 days into No Nut November. I was actually meditating today and I came, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking of a message that I kind of wanted to articulate today. I thought of it before, but I don't know. I felt compelled today to bring it to you. And that message is there's a lot more to a high value, high status man. High value man than money, looks, and status. That was a definition basically brought to us by the late great Kevin Samuels. And don't get me wrong, that is the cornerstone. I'm not saying that money, looks, and status aren't important or aren't even the most important things, because that's probably true. You know what I'm saying? He articulated this point, money, looks, and status very well, and I do agree with him on that. But I think that's more of a surface level take on what actually makes a high value man. And another thing is that, let's keep it a buck here. Every nigga wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to be rich. You know, most of us aren't. I'm not here to discourage you or say that you shouldn't be trying to get that every day, because I still am too. I'm still trying to get to that bag. Before this life ends, I want to be wealthy. So that's not the point I'm trying to make here. However, most of us aren't rich. That still doesn't mean that you can't be highly valuable. It still doesn't mean, your status can't be high. I can name plenty of people that had high status throughout history that were not rich. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X is two that just pop off the top of my head that were very high value, that weren't rich. Okay. As far as the looks go, you know what I'm saying, that's subjective. Obviously, women like tall men, you know what I'm saying, fit men. Other than that, do the best you can, get as good as you can look. Whatever your swag is, be the best at your swag. Be clean cut, and groomed every day, smelling good, looking good, as far as that go. Status, if you get status, make sure you be known. You know what I'm saying? When you chasing status, make sure you're known for the right things. It's a lot of goofies out there nowadays that gets, out of social media is prevalent the way it is, and they're willing to try and gain fame and status by any means necessary. I am not. There are certain things that I do, and you know what I'm saying, there's certain things that I do, and if I can't get status through being like through my works, you know what I'm saying, I do a few different things, you know what I'm saying, but I don't want it to be, essentially I don't want it to be off no goofy shit. There it is. I don't want to gain any status off no goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying there's nothing wrong with doing comedy. I love comedy or whatever, but don't be no goofy shit. You got the guys out here doing the pranks and just whatever weirdo type of stuff people do, all for the love of fame nowadays. Don't be that guy. Now, back to what I was saying. Sorry about that little rant. But back to what I was saying is there is much more to being high value than just money, looks, and status. Like I said, that's surface level. Even if it is the most important things, there's still more to it than that. At least in my mind, it is. And things that come up in everyday life for a man, for a high value man. One thing, well, actually, to me personally, the first and most important thing that comes into a high value, high status man is, are you dangerous? See, because today we live in a world where we live behind a computer screen. Go look at the comments of, go look at any, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, go look at the comment section. You will find a bunch of goofy ass incel type dudes talking crazy to somebody, in a way that they would never say to a man in real life. You know what I'm saying? Just calling them all out their name, racist slurs, whatever. And I'm like, you would never say that if I was, right in front of you. Which also brings me to another point, but I'm small little rant again. We always talk about how women have such an advantage in today's society because of what men built. Well, you got a lot of lame dudes or whatever that, are somebody today because of what real men built as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about it. When I talk about stuff like this, I'm talking about things that can be applied to the real world. Obviously, you're seeing me online, so I'm all about taking advantage of, the internet as well. But that is not real life. You know what I'm saying? You might have to step out and see somebody in real life when you're talking all crazy. And one thing that our ancestors, forefathers, whatever you want to call it, one of the things that they had to be was dangerous. Whether no matter what walk of life or what, history that your people had, whether, cowboys had to be dangerous, warriors in Africa had to be dangerous, warriors in Japan had to be dangerous, and that's part of being a man. Now, when I say that you need to be dangerous, I'm not saying that you need to be walking around slapping the shit out of niggas, starting shit, talking all crazy to people, fighting. Nah, you could be cool, calm, collected, quiet, and, quite literally a peaceful person. However, if something do go left, it should be well known that people don't want to smoke with you. Being dangerous is part of being a man, and being dangerous is high value. If you step into a room and don't nobody want smoke with you, that is attractive to a woman. That is high value to a woman. Like I said, don't go out here, getting into shit all because of a broad. Don't ever do that. Don't be just, especially if it ain't your broad and she ain't, submitting to you. However, if a broad know that you got them hands, then, that goes a long way. So if you don't know how to fight, you need to learn. Every real man needs to know how to fight. I don't care if you got to take a boxing class, a jiu-jitsu class, taekwondo class, an MMA class. You need to know how to fight. If you don't know how to fight, I can't even consider you a man. Scratch that. I ain't gonna say that. However, scratch that again. I will say that. I was about to say something on behalf of MLK because I do admire Martin Luther King, but he needed to know how to fight too. I agree with all his other teachings and everything like that, but ain't no way. I ain't with that piece shit. We got a problem. We got a problem. Which leads me into my next part is, do you know how to use a weapon? I'm not at all turning this into a thing about gun advocacy. I ain't saying you got to be no gun nut, but in this world we live in today, you need a firearm, at least one. You need to know how to use it, and you need to know how to use it efficiently, clean it, and shit hit the fan, you better be willing and ready to pop off. Hopefully it never happens to you, but in the world we live in today, you can. I live in an open carry state, and so I always either got one on me or in my car, and I go to the range at least once a month. Like I said, I'm not saying, this ain't about gun advocacy. I don't think you gotta have a whole basement looking like, the Punisher's lair or nothing like that. But you gotta be able to defend yourself. Okay, let's say you're in a situation and somebody else got one and you don't. You are at their mercy. Therefore, you are no longer a man. I know a lot of people don't like guns. I don't care if you do or if you don't. This is a necessity, not something that matters if you like it or not. Learn how to use it and learn how to be efficient with it. You need to be dangerous. You need to have a weapon. It's no different than, in Japan, you would have a sword. I know, before everybody hopped in the comments like, oh, that was rich people. Trust me, the people on the farms or whatever, they knew how to work them nunchucks and staffs or something. They knew how to work a weapon. And every man throughout all walks of history need to learn how to, work a firearm nowadays. I don't care if you don't like it or not. And another thing is, this isn't directly dangerous, but it is. Is your network Do you have a network, you know what I'm saying, of people that you rock with, fuck with, roll with, or whatever, where if you do got an issue, you can make a phone call? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? This got something to do with a little networking. Okay, listen, man, I got smoke with such and such, da-da-da-da-da. He got da-da. Can you hop on the phone and do you got people that got your back? Can you make a phone call? And whether this don't have nothing to do with direct violence or nothing like this. This could have something to do with business. This could have something to, you know, do with just many aspects or whatever. Can you hop on the phone call, you know what I'm saying, and make it uncomfortable for somebody else? You know? Obviously, if you don't, you don't. I ain't gonna necessarily say this is a necessity, but it's damn sure good to have people that you can call when shit hit the fan, that got your back, that's willing to go to war, you know, for you and with you, whether it be business-wise or whether it be in some street shit. And I ain't saying be in some street shit, you know, because at a certain time you should be out the street, but let's be real, the world is a street. You could have some issues with somebody where you need somebody to have your back. So being dangerous is part of being a man, and I think that actually makes you high value. I think there's no way a woman is gonna look at a man that can whip your ass, shoot you in, got niggas got their back. She gonna find that shit sexy, point blank, period. Another thing that I would think that would make you high value personally is, do you have any skills, like, or can you fix anything or anything of that nature? Not saying your main job, which it could be your main job, but just something you inherently know how to do that can help people out. And the reason that makes you high value is because, I mean, well, that's literally what high value is that you're actually helpful. You know what I'm saying? You're useful to other motherfuckers. Like, say for instance, you could be anywhere. You might, and I'm using this like I'm using the high value thing directly in dating terms or whatever. What if you around some chicks or something like that, or you see a post or whatever, and a chick is like, damn, somebody know how to fix brakes or whatever? Shit, my car, you know, if you know how to fix brakes, you're obviously valuable to her. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and trick your value off on chicks. Shit, when you still show up or you hop in her, you know, inbox or whatever, whatnot, still, you know, I can do it for you on the low, or I can da-da-da-da-da. Don't be that guy. Oh, I'll do it. I'm trying to get her number. Nah, you can do it on the low. You might give her a little discount or something like that. You still get paid. And that's the next thing. You can get paid off any random skill you have. But I mean, if you know how to, you know what I'm saying, fix some brakes, you know how to cook, you know how to you be a photographer, you know how to edit or whatever, the more skill you have, the more value you have. I mean, that's, you know, it's self-explanatory. And like I said, in the dating market, I mean, shit, if you are a fixer or a problem solver, that's attractive to a woman. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So make sure you got some useful skills outside of your, you know, 9-to-5 job or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something that you could, you know, obviously, like I said, we're talking on a dating app, but I mean, that's going to help you out too. All of these, any like skill that you can have, that's going to help you out in your day-to-day life. But it just so happens that, shit, you can use it in your game too, or you use it to make some side money. Shit, ain't nothing wrong with having a side hustle, making some side money outside of your regular job. I think another thing that I would put on this list would be, I kind of lump these two together, having emotional discipline, well, just discipline, period, and being purpose-driven. See, I got a homie of mine, and it's one of them situations, all right, like, you know, you have somebody you grew up with, and then you grow apart. Well, he's still my brother. I still consider him my brother, and I always check on him all the time. I hit him up or whatever. But see, this is the thing. He is content with sitting down, making the bare minimum amount of money, you know, having the bare minimum amount of life, and being like, oh, I don't care. I don't do all this. You know, I ain't living for somebody else, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, why don't you have a plan for yourself? It ain't about, you know, what other people think. You should want things for yourself. Like, Matter of fact, let me scratch something. He don't even do the bare minimum for himself. He like highly depends on broads. You know what I'm saying? And when I say highly depend on broads, not the broads that you would want. Like, it ain't okay. It's one thing. Well, first, no. You would never want to depend on a broad. But I'm just saying, it's one thing if you got a bad broad taking care of you or whatever, just because your pimp game's so strong. Okay, I get that. Even though I don't necessarily agree, I get that. But it's another thing of being forced to settle for a broad that looks like Miss Piggy because you refuse to work, grind, and get your own. And that's what type of timing he on. So be disciplined enough that you have your own and you know, kind of got the steering wheel of your own life and ain't dependent on nobody. And you stay disciplined on to bettering yourself on a daily basis. Once again, that's something that women find attractive. You know, sometimes you got to tell them no. It could be the baddest broad that you done dealt with, and she could be, man, come through and get this pussy, whatever, not. If you said you was gonna be at the gym at that time, then you go to the gym at that time. Now, after you hit the gym, be like, yo, I'll be over after I hit the gym. But you gotta go to the gym. But see, this is the thing about it is being undisciplined tends to snowball. You know, you break one appointment or some shit you said you was gonna do, whether it be going to the gym, whether it be working on some skill or whatever. Next thing you know, 4 months then went by and you still fat. Or you still ain't started, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You still ain't started your comedy routine and ain't never, you know what I'm saying? You ain't never hit the stage yet. You still ain't dropped the album. You still ain't finished, you know, enrolled in the class. That's how being non-disciplined works. You say, I'll do it later one time, and the next thing you know, you turn around and 6 months later and you ain't even started. Trust me, I've been there before. Nigga, do what you say, do what you promised yourself you was gonna do. Do what you promised yourself you was gonna do and stick to it. And don't break it no matter what. Only time you gonna break it if it's an emergency. Obviously, if somebody dying, sick, you know, in the hospital, something happened to your kids or something, then yeah, you gotta tend to that. But that should be the only time you break your discipline on the things that you promised yourself you were gonna do. Another thing is leadership. It's kind of funny because all of these things that I'm saying do essentially play into what would make you have money and status. I mean, not looks, obviously, but all of these things will help you get to the money and help you get to the status. But leadership energy, and when I say leadership energy, man, I'm not saying like you gotta wake up with a group of people like, oh, we ride at dawn. It's not that serious. It's if I'm with a group of people, say we out and about, I'm with a group of people and we are out chilling, hanging out, and we all like, what we about to do with it? Man, listen, we going here. I heard this is cracking. Let's go here. That's where I want to go. Now, I'm not opposed to hearing somebody else's idea if y'all got something better, but don't sit around, well, I think, or what do you think, or what do you think? No, yeah, we going here. This is what I heard was popping. You know what I'm saying? If something breaks in your house or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, if something breaks in your house and you know your girl is, what do we do? Don't be waiting for her to look how to fix it or whatever. And if you don't know how to fix it, be like, man, break out the phone. All right, man, let me look up. Okay, this don't work. All right, man, I got it. You know, whatever needs to be handled, you should be the first to spring into action as the man and handle the situation. Where do we want to eat at? We eating here. Like I said, that don't mean you're not open to somebody else's suggestions. If somebody else say, oh, well, I heard this is good. Oh, okay, well, you heard that's good. We can try that. That's cool, whatever. But if ain't nobody saying nothing, don't nobody know, man, listen, we going here. We doing this. You make the decision. You are the leader. Have leadership energy. You know, you got to take advantage. Take initiative. Be a problem solver. If you don't know how to solve the problem, and that's the funniest thing about today's age. If you don't know how to solve the problem now, you can ask ChatGPT or Google. Like, I could see 20, 30 years ago where you just really didn't have no idea what's going on. Oh, this is broke shit. I don't know. I get it. Now it could be something. Matter of fact, I'm on a semi truck. All right. Before I was on the semi truck, I had never touched a semi truck. Man, do you know how many times I've had issues on this truck while I was on the road? And guess what? I get on that Google ChatGPT and be like, man, this ain't working. That broke down. Da 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 da. Well, what you have to do is this, that, that. Man, I done fixed so many things on this truck and ain't never worked in no kind of garage. That's taking initiative. I could have sat down there and called my dispatch and then called, and they would have sent somebody that was going to, pay, that was going to charge me hundreds, if not thousands, to fix the shit. But guess what? I got on ChatGPT and I'm like, all I got to do is this, that, and the third. Because a lot of times with fixing shit is just knowing it. And knowing it is not necessarily, knowing stuff is not necessarily some unattainable skill. Now, obviously, I can't motherfucking fix the engine on this bitch. That shit break down. It's got to go in the shop. But I mean, some little shit, you know what I'm saying? Like an airline gets disconnected or, I have a short and something like that or whatever. Look up how to fix the shit. Take initiative. Try and figure it out. And guess what? Everything I learned on my own about how to fix a truck, now that's a skill I have. I've actually had friends and stuff that other truckers that have asked me for, man, what is da-da-da-da? I'll be like, man, all that is this, that, and the third. Period. Take some initiative and learn how to, solve problems. And the last one as far as leadership energy goes, I would say protect the people around you. Self-explanatory. I'm not saying hop in fights for some ungrateful thought that you dicking down, but like your friends, your family, you know what I'm saying? They gotta know that, all right, such and such is with us, so we good. We feel protected around you. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your people feel protected around you. That is part of being a man, and once again, that is attractive to women. Let's see. What else we got? Be a good communicator. And I'm talking specifically, be a good communicator in all aspects of your life, but especially when talking to women. Well, I only said especially when talking to women because I'm talking about being a high value man to women. But be a good communicator when talking to women. Simple and plain. Don't yell. Don't beg. Don't threaten. And hold your frame. You say what it is, what it's gonna be, what you gonna put, what you will put up with, what you ain't gonna put up with, and that's what it is. And if she ain't with it, walk away. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. I say we doing X, or I want you to do X, or I'm gonna do X, and you say no, you want Y and Z, and I'm like, nah. That's, I guess that's where we end dealing with each other at. We agree to disagree. I'm not gonna fight you about it, I'm not gonna yell, and I'm not gonna convince you, and I'm not gonna sell you the idea of it. It's what I said, it's good enough. Now, if I say X, Y, Z, and however I'm presented with some information or whatever, why that's a bad idea, like I said, I'm not going to be no fool and just be like, well, I'm just a man and I just do it. No, if I'm presented with some info and I'm like, oh, yo, you're right, that did sound right. Cool, I'm with that. But you might present me with some information and I'll still be like, no, whatever I say, that's it. End of story. If you don't agree, or you know what I'm saying, that you ain't with it, then you ain't with it. We're not compatible. That's all that means. You don't mean we beefing. Have a nice life. And last but not least, what I think will make you be a high value man to a woman is have a life outside a woman. Matter of fact, a woman, I know we say the man is the prize and the woman ain't the prize, but I mean, you almost should treat it like a woman is just like the prize, a snack, a treat, whatever, whatnot. A woman should be 10, maybe 20% of your time or whatever. That's all. You got shit to do. You ain't got time to be all laid up under a woman all day, tending to a woman's needs all day, laid up. And I know, I get it. I know how amazing that coochie in that mouth feel. I get it. Love it. That's why I do consider that's the prize for me when I get done doing shit that needs to be done. Sometimes you might have to go, if you don't have like a consistent relationship or you ain't got no roster, you might gotta go 30, 60, 90 days, a half year without dealing with no broads or having nothing consistent on a consistent basis because you got shit to do. And chasing a broad around ain't gonna help you accomplish his goal. It ain't gonna help you get closer to no money, unless it do. If you do got a chick that's actually helping you get to that bag and help you get the goal accomplished and helping you up, then you might, then you might need to tend to her, whatnot. I'm not telling you to be dumb and just throw out an asset. Trust me, like, some of these women out here do got some skills that can be quite lucrative. So, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sexually chasing a woman just because you just like to chase women, because I get it. Pulling broads and fucking the shit out of broad, that it's an ego boost on top of feeling good. So I get it, but no, we got shit to do. You got goals to accomplish, you got a purpose that you're here for, and you got a bag to get to, so that you can get back to Sam Jackson novels, but get to Kevin Samuel's original point of money, looks, and status. You know what I'm saying? You can actually get to the money and the status because you stay focused on stuff besides women. And then after you get to the money and the status, then the women will come. If you couldn't get them before, because I can get them whether I'm broke or not, but I'm just talking about y'all. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to, put that little message out there, and I was compelled. It was on my mind today. If you did find this message useful or valuable, or you just found it entertaining, please like, comment, subscribe, and hey man, I'll see you on the next one. Holla.